Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Watches TV, where I watch all the TV shows. I watch all the true crime. I watch all the trending shows on Netflix and Apple and everywhere else. I watch all the reality shows, and I'm currently binge watching Sister Wives in hopes of making it to the end before season 19 comes out on Sunday. And I'm starting to doubt myself. It's going to be literally like episode after episode after episode this weekend. And I'm really, really excited about finishing it and also watching season 19. But I'm down to the final, like 2.5 seasons, which I'm very, very happy about because this is where like the major drama happens. So I wanted to do a continuation of my video from yesterday. I will tell you, last night I had to take a little bit of a break because I was just like, I felt like I was like literally living in, I don't know, in the world of Cody Brown. It was like driving me crazy. So I was like, I have to take a little bit of a break. So Emily had reached out to me and she had messaged me and said, so, hey Emily, how are you? And she said, have you seen this new show that just came out on Netflix? It's called Into the Fire, and it's a true crime documentary. And she's like, it's really, really good. So I was like, I checked it out and I was like, oh, it's only 2 parts. And I was like, I want to watch that. I also want to watch Chimp Crazy because I want to cover Chimp Crazy over here. I've got to finish Sister Wives. So I'm getting pulled in like all these different directions. I'm like, should I start Ozark? No Ozark. No Yellowstone until you get done with Sister Wives. So anyway, but last night I was like, it's only 2 parts, and I'm like, I love true crime. So I started watching part 1 of Into the Fire last night. It's 2 parts, but each episode is like an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. It's so good, you guys. I watched the first part. It's actually produced by Charlize Theron, and I was kind of surprised by that. It's so well done. It's about this woman that she gave her daughter up for adoption, and then like 30 years later, the adoption agency, it's a closed adoption, reaches out to her for a DNA sample that the police are requesting because her daughter has gone missing. Her biological daughter went missing like 20 years before, and they find a body, and so they want to identify the body, and they think it's this girl that went missing, her daughter. So she goes basically on this hunt to try to find out what happened to her biological daughter when she went missing, because she never knew anything about that, obviously. And it's about her interviewing these people. I mean, this woman is, she will not give up. And it is, I just finished watching like the last 5 minutes of the first episode and everything changes. Literally, you think you know what's going on. It is so well done. So if you're looking for something to binge this weekend, Into the Fire, 2 episodes. You like true crime, 2 episodes. Trigger warning, there is SA in there. They talk about, there is, physical abuse, other kinds of abuse and things like that, just in case that's something that you're triggered by. It is fantastically done. They interview like the friends of the girl that went missing, the family of the girl that went missing, everybody. They interview everybody. And what I love about it is they pay such homage to the victim that went missing. And it's so fantastically done. And they paint her in such a authentic, real, but fantastic way as well. So that's what I'm watching. So tonight I'm going to finish that, and I will do that probably tomorrow or Monday. But today I wanted to catch up with where I left off, which was season 13. Hold on a second. Yeah, it was season 13 because, is that where the catfishing starts? Where does the catfishing start? Why did I think it was before? No, we're done with all the weddings. Well, we're not done with all the weddings, but okay. So the catfishing. So many people, I actually have written on here, the catfishing. So many people told me, like, okay, people that have watched Sister Wives ahead of me, like, not like, you would think it would be people that I talk to, like Tanya or my cousin, but like, they haven't really told me much about it. But people will message me and DM me and email me, and they'll be like, oh my God, wait till you get to the catfishing part, or wait till you get to the Sister Wives closet part. And so people have kind of warned me about stuff, right? And so when it happens, it's kind of funny because I'm kind of waiting for it. But I didn't look into the catfishing thing because I knew it was such a huge part of the story. So what happens is, and I feel bad for her, I really do. I actually feel, okay, so I reached out to Meri, and I told Meri, I said, I really think it's cool that you shared about this catfishing, because I have so many people that use my pictures, my personal pictures, pictures of myself, pictures of my nephews, pictures of my dogs, to create an online persona. And then what they do is they try to scam specifically women out of money. In fact, I just had a woman reach out to me last night, and we were emailing each other back and forth, and she said I could share her story but not her name. And I'm actually going to do a whole video about it on my drama channel, that this man was, she sent a picture of it. He made a name tag for a company, and it's got my picture on it with his name underneath it. The links that they go to catfish these people. And she said, I sent him thousands of dollars. And I was like, why did you believe him? And she was like, because we would have phone conversations. She didn't know who I was. She said when she started like visual imaging, or like imaging searching, what she found, like she saw these pictures of me, and she was like, who is this person? And she started watching my videos, and she put it together very, very quickly. I've had so many people that have reached out to me, so many kids of, women that are being catfished by people. And it's so sad to me. It really, really is sad. And they'll be like, it's so interesting. There's a lot of commonalities between it. It's always like where they live. They always work on ships, like offshore ships, usually like oil, like, drilling and things like that. And so they can't like be on the phone or talk, and they can't meet in person, or there's always like that. They're always like, they live typically on boats, or they work on boats. And like this person was saying that he needed money for his daughter because he couldn't get to his bank. And so because he was working on the ship, and that he would pay her as soon as he got back to line. But once she had sent him several $1,000s, he just cut off communication. But they had built this relationship over a year. So what happens is they build a relationship over a year. The woman trusts them. Then they go in, like, I'm on this business thing. As soon as you can trust me. He had sent her gifts. He had sent her like a sweatshirt with my picture on it. She sent me a picture of that. And I mean, it's unbelievable. So I felt really bad for Meri on this thing. I actually felt like the rest of the sister wives and Cody didn't really understand the full part of it. The other thing is that I'm somebody that never agrees with cheating whatsoever. I also think that both people have a part in it. Like, they really wanted to portray it as cheating. I think it would have been really better if Meri would have said, I was lonely. I had nobody to talk to. Cody, you weren't staying with me anymore because I had asked you not to. Our marriage was falling apart. Yeah, I was talking to this guy that was treating me nicely. I think that would have made a lot more sense. I think they would have seen it as cheating, but she tried to disguise it as something else. I think that's what really screwed her. And just like, oh, we were just friends and whatever. But that whole catfishing thing to me was insane. After I watched it and I started reading online that Meri actually found out who her catfisher was, and this is somebody that's been doing this for years to people, and that then she met the other woman. I don't know what her name was, Candy or Crystal or something like that. And that woman came and stayed with her. And then she found out, I mean, Meri had met her stalker, had met her catfisher. I don't think it's catfishing. I think it goes beyond that. I think it's stalking and harassing. And, that woman had been like on her computer and things like that. I mean, Meri was scared. I think a lot of how she treated everybody at that time really was consistent to what she was going through. It's like very, very scary. I've had a lot of people that have reached out to me. They include me in it because it's my face that's being used and they want to let me know, and I appreciate that. There's very little that I can do from my end, but I think they also feel like there's some connection because they still see my face, and so it's kind of like there's some connection to who they were talking to before, even though they know that that's not the person. But I reached out to Meri and I said, I just want to thank you for sharing your story, and I would do this with any of the wives over other issues as well. But I said, thank you for sharing your story. I think you're really helping a lot of people. And I explained to her, and then I said on here, and I just want you to know, I am not a fake. And Meri responded to me. I was actually kind of surprised. I thought she's never going to respond to me, but she did. Hold on just a second. Let me tell you what she said. Where is it at? Here she is. So she responded to me and she said, "Hi, Peter, assuming you're really Peter." And then she put these laughing emojis. "Thank you so much for sharing this. I'm glad my story may help some people in some small way." And then I said, "Thank you for responding, blah, blah, blah." And she said, "You're so welcome." But I do think that. I think like a lot of their stories on the show can help people in other ways. And there's other stories that have been really, really really impressive to me. But the catfishing thing, the thing was, they kept on dragging it out. It was like, God, at the end, I was like, so tired. I was like, girl, Meri. I mean, you're in therapy about it. You got a catfishing buddy that got catfished too. It's like, okay, do not define yourself completely over the catfishing. I got a fountain pop. Do you remember we used to do this as a kid? I love that so much. Oh my God, I haven't had a fountain pop in so long. I love this. But anyway. But at some point, I was like, oh my God. That's where I wrote down, the catfishing. I was like, if I have to hear catfishing one more time. Okay. So this is when Meri wants to buy her great-grandmother's house. And Meri isn't involved. This is where I ended it yesterday. Meri isn't involved in the meeting of the other wives and Cody discussing whether or not they're going to give her the money or not. This is important because this has never happened before on Sister Wives. Well, they've shown. Where the other wives meet to make a decision about the fourth wife. That's never happened before. And Cody allowed that, okay? And I think people don't, I think they don't understand why Meri was so pissed off. She was pissed off because she wasn't included in that conversation. She should have been included in that conversation. So then she goes in there and says that she feels like it's 4 against 1. It was 4 against 1, But what's so interesting is that they go in and they tell her that they're not going to give her the money, but then they go in and they ask, like, about being equity partners, and I'm like, but if you're not giving her the money, like, what is about this equity partner bullshit? Like, you come out and said, we don't have the money, we're not giving it to you, but then what are you going to do with your bed and breakfast, Meri? How are you going to run it? Who's going to run it? They want to ask her all these questions when she's already said, I'm going to buy it myself. You know, it's just, like, baffling to me, which later, by the way, when Christine is selling her house in Las Vegas, she gets pissed. Christine is the one that takes issue with Meri. Christine is the one that says that Meri, like, they should all be equity partners and all have a part and all this kind of stuff. Christine's the one that gets pissed off. But later, when Janelle is her realtor representing the sale of Christine's house, and she wants to talk numbers with her, Christine's like, I should be able to have that conversation with my agent alone. The other sister wives shouldn't be there. Well, when it was Meri's house that Meri wanted to buy on her own, to run as her own, or run it as a bed and breakfast, or just where she wanted to live, you had a lot to say then, Christine. You had a lot wanting to be part of that conversation, but you don't care now. Okay? You don't care. This is where Christine always wants to act like she got her sister wives' backs. Girl, you never had your sister wives' backs. That's why you always wanted to live on your own. It was never about being a mom in control. It was about you wanted to be controlling everything. And you didn't like your sister wives. And that's the truth. That's why you wanted to be the third wife, okay? You are so proud of being the third wife because you were the last wife until Robyn Brown came along. Isn't that the truth? And that's why you didn't like Robyn Brown. And then you didn't like Janelle and Meri because they allowed it. And Meri friended Robyn, okay? And then that left you with Janelle, which is why you and Janelle were so close and still are to this day. And Janelle just stays out of it anyway, so she's easy to get along with, right? But that's why you were really pissed, because you wanted to be the last wife. The order was important to you, Christine. Then he goes on, Cody says during this whole house thing that if it doesn't benefit the family, it's selfish. He's like, if buying the house doesn't benefit the family, then it's selfish. I'm like, okay, but wait a second. A couple of seasons ago, you wanted to go take that boat riding trip with your friend that said that you could come back to the church, but you just need to leave 3 of your wives behind. Christine went crazy. And I did agree with Christine on that. I would take huge issue if one of my husband's friends said something like that. They never would, right? And none of the sister wives, none of those sister wives ever have each other's backs. None of them, okay? They act like they do, but they don't. And you got on there and you're like, Christine, you need to stop. You made Christine blame it on her PMS, Cody, okay? But now you're saying anything that doesn't benefit the family is selfish. Well, that was selfish, Cody. Okay, of you needing to take a boat ride. Seriously? I mean, the more seasons you watch, the more misogynist you see that Cody Brown is, the more controlling that you see he is. And I'm just wondering, like, how many seasons did they edit that down so that people didn't see it so they would fall in love with the Browns so the show could continue? I'm just wondering how much TLC edited down, because to me it's like, it can't just come out of everybody. Everybody's like, it comes down when he starts making these rules with the lockdown. Well, that's true, but I started noticing it like 3 seasons back, and I'm like, they're kind of loosening up a little bit with the editing, if you want to know the truth. And that's when Robyn says, you know, Meri, all sister wives' closet money goes back to the family, and Meri says she hadn't seen any of it. And then, you know, it's interesting to me because Cody talks in there about he has got to help his youngest child, which is Robyn's, I think, 5th child, right? And they're talking about how much money they can have. Janelle collectively has like 6 kids. I think Christine has, well, I don't know how many they have, okay? 18 or something like that? And then Meri's got 1 child. So what's interesting to me is that they don't have all this money, right? But like the amount of money that they give these kids for weddings and for going to college and things like that. But Meri had 1 child. The rest of them have 6. You know, this is where I do think it's unfair to Meri, because Meri's supposed to, like, it's supposed to be equal and all this kind of stuff. That's where, like, in retrospect, I do understand where they're like, why does Meri need such a big house? Meri needs such a big house because Meri is paying for all of your kids, okay, is why. And you all don't have an issue with it. It's really unfair, honestly, when you look back at it, you know? And then it's more of the catfishing. I got so tired of the catfishing. Meri, girl, the catfishing. Okay, I appreciate that you shared the story, but it was a lot. And then they're hurt because Meri didn't tell. I mean, this season 13 was baffling to me. They're hurt because Meri didn't tell them that she's buying the house. So she bought the house and moved her mom in. And she said that she told them that she was buying the house. She told them that she was closing on it. And then like at this point, I was kind of like, You know, it's hard because these allegations have come out now about Meri allegedly being abusive to some of the kids. I don't know about that. Like, I haven't read a lot into it. I'll cover that down the road if it comes up in the show, and I'll also read the articles, and I'll cover that later. But at this point, I was like, they are fucking with Meri. Like, they are seriously, like, not knowing a lot of that outside stuff, like, they are seriously fucking with Meri. Like, it's like, you don't want anything to do with the house, but then they want to dictate how she's going to buy the house and what she's going to do with the house, and then they don't want anything to do with the house, but then they're upset that she didn't tell them that she bought the house. It's, like, so weird. Right? And then they turned it all about them. It was all about Janelle and Robyn. And Robyn's like, I'm so upset. Like, I wanted to be part of that. It's like, girl, shut up, Sobbin, Robyn. I'm so tired of it. And then Aspen and Mitch get engaged. I just literally at this point was just like, notes. And then Meri opens the B&B. They come to that. And then Cody does the presentation about moving. And I was like, what is all that about? You know what? I feel like I really, hold on a second. I wanted to miss. I don't know. Okay, wait. I'll have to go back. I feel like I missed an entire season talking about some very important things. Okay, so then Cody does a presentation about moving, and it's so weird. And then he says he wants to move back to Utah to run for office. I'm like, say what now? You want to run for office to change legislation to let polygamous people? I was like, this is your mission in life? You know? Okay. Then he says he wants to move because... Cody wants to move because he wants to move, and he's selfish. That's the thing. He's always he's like telling Robyn she's selfish. Meri, I mean, she's the most selfish person in the world. He's telling everybody that they're selfish, but like Cody literally does like this PowerPoint presentation, you know, and he has like books, like manuals that he's printed out, and he's like, we're going to move. And they're like, Janelle's like, I'm not moving my kids out of the school. And he's like, well, we need to do it now because we're going to make the most money. Now they're living in debt in Santa Fe or wherever, not Santa Fe, where are they at? I can't remember. These people. It's so funny because at one point they said something about, Christine said something about, or Janelle said she lived in some basement. One time when we lived in this one house, I lived in the basement and there was no window. And I'm like, what season was that? Because I don't remember that house. That must have been before the show started, that you were living in some little basement downstairs, girl, with no window and stuff like that. I don't know why I immediately went to Wizard of Oz and she's like down there like Dorothy, polygamous Dorothy. I was like polygamous Dorothy down there living in her basement. It's like, you know, the tornadoes are coming around in Utah and stuff like that. But anyway... because Christine refers to herself as the basement wife, because she always had to live in the basement. She was so hard living in the basement, things like that. But anyway, so then they want to move to Flagstaff, and so then they move to Flagstaff. They're moving to Flagstaff, and Gabriel's really pissed about it. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's a junior in high school. He's starting his junior year in high school, and all this kind of stuff. But and watching it, I did think this. I mean, first of all, it's so weird because it's like they had to have these houses, right, in Las Vegas. Like, we have to have these houses. This is the dream. Everything is like this with Cody Brown, right? Like, we have to do these houses on the cul-de-sac. We have to have them. And then all the women are crying because they can't get loans and they can't get this and they can't get their credits checked. And then they buy these houses. I would love one of those houses on the cul-de-sac. Those houses were gorgeous. I mean, they decorated and kept them like shit, but I thought they were gorgeous. I put me a big white couch in there and everything like that, you know? I go to Vegas every single night and gamble, okay? Because I'm not one of them people. I don't know, AUL or AUR or whatever they are, okay? I would gamble every night and go out to dinner in Las Vegas and come home and watch me some Sister Wives on my big white couch. Those houses were gorgeous, okay? They built all those houses, and then all of a sudden, he's like, saying, I think it was at the B&B opening, he says to Leon, he's like, I'm ready to move. I want to move back to Utah. I've always wanted to move back to Utah. And I'm like, this is so bizarre to me, right? Like, you just got your dream, and now you're pissed, right? And now you want to move, I keep on saying Santa Fe. Now that he wants to move to, what's it called? Albuquerque. Now I'm saying, no, what's in Arizona? Flagstaff. Okay. So they moved to Flagstaff. A lot of the last season 13 is about Gabriel being pissed about moving, okay? Then it shows Cody and Christina are in Flagstaff looking at model homes. They choose Coyote Pass, okay, is where they choose to go. Because it was just, Meri and Truly were the only ones that liked the other place. Meri, Truly, and one of the other small kids. They were the only ones that liked the other place. That Truly, that child is a mess of trouble. She is always Christina's like, Truly, don't play. Oh my God, I did a really good version of her voice, didn't I? Truly, don't play in the dirt and the mud because there's prairie dog poop in there, Truly. You'll get sick, Truly. Cody's just thinking about what wife he can fuck to get him another kid. And what's going on with the goatee? At this whole season, he's got this half goatee, okay? It's like here, and then, but there's no mustache and this. And I'm like, what is going on? I am so confused about this, okay? Oh, in between, though, they have Aspen's wedding. that whole thing to me with Aspen's husband, what's her husband's name? Mitch. And they're like, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about that, but I'll just, whatever. She seems like a very nice girl. But it's so funny because they're like, well, you don't really want to be in a polygamous marriage, do you? And she's like, no, not at all. And he's like, I mean, we might think about it down the road. And she's like, I'm like, they're straight on going to be polygamous in about 5 years with their own TV show, okay? He feels like he went fishing one day, and that Aspen girl, I love her, okay? I'm not that, I like Caleb. I like Caleb a lot. I like Tony a lot. I am not that thrown out, okay, by Mitch. He's not really in it a whole lot, to be honest with you. They don't really, I can tell you, Cody don't love Mitch as much as he loves Caleb. Okay. And so then they move to Flagstaff, and he wants to get out so bad, but then he's sad that he's leaving. Like that whole episode, he's like, Crowley, I'm leaving my home in Las Vegas. I'm like, you wanted out so bad. And this is where the wives truly start seeing the insanity of Cody Brown, because they're like, you wanted to move to Flagstaff. You're the ones that told us that we had to go. And then he starts blaming it on them in the next season, and he's like, no, like, you guys, we had to sell the houses, and now we can't sell the houses, and you need to take less money. And Robin's like looking at him, and she goes, you're the one that wanted to move here. None of us wanted to move here. He's like, no, like, yeah, like, and I'm like, do you not remember that PowerPoint presentation where you basically told your wives that they had to move or else? I mean, like, seriously? Okay, King. And then this was a season for me, season 13, where you could really see that Cody was becoming more unhinged and controlling. And I didn't really notice it until the season. So then it goes into 14. They move to Flagstaff. Meri gets harassed for being a sister wife. Then she has to move out of her house. And then Meri finds a new house. It's the one with the waterfall and the elevator. Go back and watch the episode when they all are doing the tour of the house. Go and look at Janelle, okay? They show 2 shots of Janelle. When they first showed Janelle, okay? Look at the first shot of Janelle when everybody looks in the house. Janelle looks around this house. Now, Janelle is living in this double-wide trailer home that she's renting, okay? Robin's got this modern 6,800 square foot house. Christine done bought a house, and Janelle's living in this double-wide trailer house, okay? She walks into Meri's house, which Meri is a 5-bedroom, I think it's 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms or something for one person. She's got a waterfall, okay, going up her thing. Janelle walks in this house. When you look at the look on Janelle's face, she is like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm living in this double-wide trailer. And Meri's like, yeah, we can have parties here. And I'm like, Janelle. And then they flash back to Janelle, and she's like real happy. It's like they all said, smile, Janelle, or something like that. Okay, so that's Meri's new house, and Janelle looks so pissed at new house. And then Cody presents his thing that he's been working on, the one house at Christmas, and everybody's upset. And then he decides what he's doing and then thinks they're going to all go along with it. And then they don't ever say anything, right? They just stay behind the scenes that they won't. And they're like, oh, yes, Cody, we will. And then he goes in there and he says that he also needs to have a cabin because he needs a break from all of them. And I'm like, girl, that's not how it works when you're a dad and a husband. You don't get a break from your family, okay? Like, that's not how it works. And you have 4 wives, okay? And 4 separate apartments. And you also have your own man cave that you walk right into in this house, right? The houses in Vegas aren't selling, and Christine wants to talk to Janelle alone, and she's the one making the payments. And I'm like, because she's like, I'm the one making the payments. I should be able to talk to my realtor alone. I'm like, wait a second. Like when Meri was buying her house on her own and making her own payments, and you all wanted group conversations? Okay, Christine. Okay, hypocrite. Then Cody goes in and he says we should just cut our losses. And I'm like, yeah, but you were the one that said you can make all this equity in your houses, that it was the time to move, girl, okay? That you just wanted out of Vegas. Anyway, I feel like, in retrospect, Cody had, I mean, those wives are always just like hanging out with the kids and coming up with what next kind of tuna casserole they can make for some kind of party, you know? Some kind of invented holiday. Cody Brown's hardly ever there. And they say he's always working. But, like, I think he had a couple side pieces in Las Vegas, okay? And he had to get out because, well, they were probably Chippendales dancers or something like that. I don't know, but he had to get out, okay? So he was like, we got to go to far away, Flagstaff, okay? Because I got to get rid of these side pieces before they want to be on the Sister Wives show, too, okay? So then he pulls Meri aside at the end, basically because she's the only one that's going to listen because she lives in the house and he's not leaving. So he's like, Meri, let me talk to you for a second. I don't want to be married to you. I don't love you no more. I don't want to be in a marriage with you anymore. Definitely don't want to have sex with you anymore. I definitely don't want to kiss you anymore. But here, listen. listen, let me try to coerce you into this house deal. So then he's like, his original plan was to move to Utah, but it was his wife's fault because they were afraid, because he was the one who said they had been exiled. I'm like, you are so ridiculous, okay? So now he's blaming the fact that he couldn't move back to Utah on his wives, okay? Because they were afraid of being arrested. But Cody moves into, like, they move into Flagstaff, and that Christmas, he's like, can we just celebrate? Because this is our first Christmas since we've been, like, we are not moving, we are not on the run, we are in exile. Like, he's like, this is a celebration. And I'm like, but you are now blaming it on he blames everything on these women. I swear to God, they should have seen it years ahead. And then he's like building this house. And I'm like, you were so stuck 20 years ago. None of these women want to live together. They don't even like each other. Janelle and Meri don't even want to drive in a car together and listen to a tape. They're like that therapist. Janelle's like, I think that would be really uncomfortable to like sit in a car with Meri for 5 minutes. Like, I'm like, I thought she was your sister wife. Y'all fuck the same husband, right? Like, you can't ride in a car down the street with her and listen to a tape. Like, seriously? I mean, I could do that with my worst enemy. You can't even do it with your sister wife. Then they're getting upset about the main entrance to the house. And then Robyn and this rental thing. I'm so over Sobbin Robyn. And she's like, I gotta have this rental. And what about the rental? And no, I'm not buying this house. And blah, 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 all this kind of stuff versus buying a house. And then Meri's house gets evacuated because of the fire. They don't really show the end of that. She never really gets evacuated. But she's like, what am I gonna do? And there's like, I felt bad for her at first. But then at this one part, she's inside, I think it's with Robyn. And she's got this, like, curio case, and she's, like, sobbing and crying, and Robyn's like, what needs to go? And she goes, all of it! And then she goes, my great-grandma, Judy Smith's sister-wife's sister painted those, and I painted those in 3rd grade, and my mom's Aunt Judy's sister-wife's husband painted that, and she's, like, pointing to all this shit. It's just junk. Their houses are... It's ridiculous. They have so much shit. They are literally, if they can't get this show renewed, they should just go on a season of hoarders. They have so much shit in their house. Their houses are dirty. Their feet are dirty. I don't think they ever bathe. I don't think they've ever shown any of them take a shower, not once, in this entire 15 seasons that I've watched now, okay? 16. I don't think they've ever taken a shower. They sure as shit don't wash their feet. Their houses are dirty. It's just disgusting. And now I see Robyn Brown's fantasy purple bedroom. It's just ridiculous to me. So that's how season 14 ends. And then 15 ends, and it's the lockdown and Cody Brown's rules. And I'm going to end it on this because this is getting really long. My favorite part of all of that was Cody Brown explaining to everybody the rules about the toilet paper, okay? And that 4 squares was probably too much, but we could probably get by on 4 wipes on 2 squares, but 1 square was not enough. If you don't watch Sister Wives and you've never seen this episode, you need to go, and I'm sure there's a clip somewhere of Cody Brown explaining how much toilet paper to his wives and kids we should use. It is unbelievable. Anyway, I'm hopefully maybe gonna do another update before the premiere on Sunday. If I get it all done, I will do an update. If not, I will just do my reaction to the season 19 premiere and hopefully get all caught up by then. But anyway, let me know if you're watching below. You can spill all the secrets and let me know everything you want to know. One thing I do want to say is, I didn't expect this going into the show, but with Janelle and Meri going to the march on Washington with Leon, and Leon's coming out to the Sister Wives and their acceptance, I thought it was done. I thought it was really, really important that this show showed how it was done. And like I said, I don't know what comes out in that further seasons. I'm only on season 15 right now. But I was really impressed as a member of the LGBTQI plus community in how they addressed it and how loving and kind they were. Especially in Leon's fear of sharing the news with the Sister Wives and Cody. I just was really impressed with how they addressed it on the show. And I didn't want to not say something about that. So I was really impressed with that. And I don't know how it's dealt with in later seasons. I'm only like at the beginning stages of, I think, season 16. So I will let you know if more comes out about that. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.